Hello everybody, welcome to Equals and Alternatives, episode 50. I'm your host, Mike Vacanti, and today we have a special guest, Greg O'Gallagher, a fitness... So when someone asks you what you do, how do you describe that?
I run Kino Body, which is basically a blog, podcast, YouTube channel where I provide my fitness advice to people who want to get that lean, chiseled Hollywood physique and have a life.
In the process.
Which
is like 99% of people. Super smart dude, super strong dude, jacked too, and does it using a lot, like almost all of the same nutrition strategies and philosophies and things that we talk about on this show. So these foods that we're covering today, not the cashews, but the alternatives, are things that Greg eats almost how often?
Every day, actually.
Every day.
Mostly every day. Yeah.
Almost every day. And Chipotle and
triple meat Chipotle.
We'll get into all this. See, loading up.
So this is usually my staple, cashews. This is what I eat all the time. It really makes eating a deficit very effortless. It's only 550 calories.
Just a little bit of
I'm
something. The thing about nuts is they are so in the process of weighing out this 550 calories worth of cashews, which is like a handful of cashews.
That's a
right?
handful, yeah. It's really easy to eat that mindlessly.
I consumed almost this much from here while pouring this, like just snacking on it, and I couldn't stop. They're delicious, but high in fat and like the marginal benefits you get from these polyunsaturated fats, and almonds have more than cashews, is nothing compared to energy balance, macronutrients, right?
I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
And enjoying what you eat. So let's talk about this chocolate. We'll back up and talk about, so you're in a calorie deficit, you're strength training 2-3 days a week. Talk about a day of eating.
For me?
Yeah.
My day pretty much goes down like this. I do the intermittent fasting thing. I think you've talked about that before.
Yep.
I just find it the most enjoyable way to eat at a caloric deficit. Let's say I have 2,000 calories to work with. How do I make those 2,000 calories as fun as possible? It's not eating 6 meals a day. That's torture, okay? It's like eating twice a day and being able to be full and satisfied. If I can enjoy meals on a diet, game over. It's a walk in the park. So for me, in the morning, I'll have some coffee to help just get my appetite down and fast effortlessly. And then maybe I'll get hungry in the afternoon and I'll actually have an apple. Like that's like my little fasting trick. I'll break my fast with an apple, which actually staves off hunger for me for a couple more hours. So it helps me push that big meal later, making, eating 2,000 calories more fun.
Yeah. And so for some of you guys, if you're like trying to do the 16-8 thing, or maybe even fast longer than 16 hours, and you're at work in an office job, you've been up since 5 a.m., and it's like 10 o'clock, and you're thinking, I don't have lunch till 12:30, but I'm starving, what should I do? Have an apple right there.
Yeah, apple.
Over.
Actually, Lyle McDonald talked about this a bit, and basically, sometimes when your liver glycogen gets depleted, it can trigger some hunger. Mm-hmm. And an apple has some fructose. Fruit has fructose and glucose, and that fructose helps replenish liver glycogen. And like 80 calories in an apple kind of fills you up a bit. So
that's a little bit of fiber. Takes a little bit of effort to eat it, right? It's not like it's not like cashews where they're just gone in a second.
Yeah, like an apple takes time. Like the amount of time it takes you to eat an apple, that's like 400 calories of cashews.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, I'll have an apple. Then I'll have usually. It depends. Sometimes I'll do a huge meal first. Basically in the afternoon, I'll have like triple meat Chipotle, just tons of cheese, and I'll just reach that full satiety point. And then the rest of the day, I eat whatever I want to hit my macros. Sometimes it's literally a 100-gram chocolate bar. So this is what I've been eating every day. And I
love this.
Yeah, chocolate. I'm so satisfied after eating chocolate.
Can we open this up?
We can open it up. I'm not gonna eat it now because we're going out for dinner, and I want to save this for later.
Okay, all right. But we won't do that. No, okay. Don't open it then, because if it's open in front of me, I'm gonna eat it.
You can have it. You can have some. Can
I try a bite?
Yeah, dude, try a bite. Try a bite. Although my trick is I'll put it in the fridge for like 20 minutes just to get it a bit colder.
Yeah.
Which I could have done. So we have a fridge in here. All right, dude.
Greg's in New York for the weekend, by the way.
In New York for the weekend. Yeah. Take off like a whole stack. There you go.
And I don't want to eat too much of your chocolate bar.
No, man. Is that tastier than the cashews?
Really good.
But imagine if you eat this whole thing, how satisfied you'll be. You're pretty satisfied.
Absolutely. And you're committing to these 550 calories. Some, you might have a snack drawer at work, or you might have like a cupboard in your house that has fun-sized candies and things like that. And you say, well, I'm just gonna have one, I'm just gonna have two. That's never one or two. You go back there, it's like 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
You know you're gonna eat this whole thing, and you get 550 calories, and let's look at the macros of this bad boy. So 32 fat, and
you know what? It's also great for people that like to eat really lean, like chicken and stuff, and they have room for the fat macros.
Yeah.
Because some people have that issue, like, oh, I just eat mostly chicken and tuna and egg whites, and it's like, how do I hit my fat macros? You can throw some chocolate in there, man.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
People are like, I'm short on fat. What should I do? I don't just want to eat butter. It's like, well, I wouldn't just want to eat butter either. I would work something like this in for your day. All right. When do you train in this whole?
What I usually do is I like to train fasted. I will, and if I'm doing intermittent fasting, some people like to do morning workouts. For me, if I train first thing in the morning, I'll tend to get hungrier early, which is an issue.
Yep.
So I like to train before one of my meals, whether it's before my first meal or my second meal. And I like to have like a big meal after training, just because I enjoy it. I get hungry after a good workout. So usually like I'll fast, and then in the afternoon I might do my workout. I might have an apple first, then train, and then hit a big meal, and then just hit the rest of my calories over the course of the day. And one of my favorite diet protocols I do, literally, is like I have 2,000 calories a day. I'll literally have an apple in the afternoon. I'll have a huge meal at that time. I'm like so just laid back, and I feel fantastic. And then later when I get hungry, I'll have a whole chocolate bar. And then at night, I'll have a bag of pop chips.
Our alternative.
This is like,
which I already more than half destroyed.
Right, yeah, it sounds like, and this is like, this bag has 100 grams, but the typical bag, like the normal size bag that's a bit smaller, has like 370 calories.
Okay.
This makes 2 huge bowls. It takes a long time to eat. It's
a lot of volume.
It's
of
a
food
huge volume.
Yeah. And what are your about 2,100 calories right now?
Yeah, about 2,100. So like literally a chocolate bar is like 550. Apple 100, that's 650. 1,000-calorie meal, that's like 1,650. And then the bag of pop chips like literally brings me to 2,000. But usually usually there's like sauces and stuff in there that might bring me up to 2,100.
Add up a little bit.
Yeah.
And this dude, incline bench 265 by 4, like he rocks literally one arm, chin ups, and like not like this, but like he just hangs and pulls himself up, which I've never done in my entire life.
Yeah,
it works.
And like like my diet might seem low in protein, but on that huge meal, I'm loading up on tons of protein. I'm still hitting like close to 0.8 grams per pound, and I found that as for dieting, if my calories are low, having more room for fats and carbs, my testosterone's higher, my sex drive's higher. And I feel better than if I try and just drop those fats. Because if you're going really high in protein, 1.5 grams per pound, those fats and carbs come down,
super low.
That kills my mood, kills everything. I don't sleep. So it's a downward
0.8
spiral.
grams per pound is like, that's still a high protein diet. That's something that a lot of people would still struggle to get that amount of protein. So even though in like the bodybuilding, that's like what?
Yeah. How do you
only 0.8? Like how do you even have muscles? Right?
The medical community considers that quite high, actually.
Super high.
Super high, yeah.
Given like a 50-gram recommendation for a 200-pound male, like.
You know, it's funny how we got skewed with protein and stuff. But yeah, that's like one example. Sometimes instead of having the chocolate bar, I might have like the cheese fix. I'll have to make some cheese quesadillas, which are great. And then or sometimes I'll just do 2 huge meals, you know. But it kind of varies. That's my thing. So I love pop chips. I like chocolate bars. One great thing about chocolate bars is like, if you're making like a dessert yourself, if you're making brownies, you have pulled ice cream, how many calories you're getting is very arbitrary. So it's easy to keep eating, you know what I mean? You pour yourself a bowl of ice cream, like, oh, this is about 400 calories, but it's so easy to pour more. With chocolate bar, it's like, okay, you know exactly what you're getting.
Fixed.
And it's eating, like chocolate's something that you don't like. Cookies I could eat forever. I could literally eat 10,000 calories of cookies easily. But chocolate, actually, you're like, okay, I've had enough. It triggers that fullness, weirdly enough. Which has been my experience. So
I get that too. Because I have eaten like 4,000 calories worth of chocolate chip cookies in a sitting. Just like it's so easy.
It's crazy. So I guess my like motif here is like find the most enjoyable way to eat at a caloric deficit if your goal is to get lean. Like that's the #1 driver. And so there's so many rules you've probably heard all the time being in the industry, because you'll have people that are asking you questions. This person said this person said this. There's so much conflicted advice, but like the way to cut through that is just ask yourself, what's the most enjoyable way for me to eat a caloric deficit? And that's the only way to get lean is to, you know.
Because it's sustainable.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to want to like chop your arm off or whatever because you're so miserable. Completely agree.
Yeah. Cool, dude.
Brother.
Thanks for having me on so much.
Absolutely. Kinobody.com, Kino. We'll flash it on the screen. Question of the day. Do you want to ask a question of the day?
Do you want
It can literally be anything.
Is it like a fitness question or
Can
is
be.
it like...
Can be nutrition, can be training, can be like, what'd you do today? I'm terrible, notoriously, at asking them.
What's your favorite online dating initial message?
Alright. And if you're in a relationship or you've never played around with online dating things, mine is literally, hey, how are you? Like that's
Okay.
it. Super simple.
Very simple.
Seems to be effective. I like going phases on the whole online dating thing. If you're looking for recommendations, Bumble is a newish site that's like infinitely better than Tinder. Question of the day from Greg.
You could do the hey, how are you? Because you got the profile, you know, you're awesome. It's like, hey, how are you? They're sold.
And, versus being like super creative with it.
Yeah, no, sometimes simple's best, man. Just keep it simple.
Question of the day.
Yeah, question of the day.
What would you? No, you already asked it.
Wait, what's the question of the day right now?
I was just gonna repeat it. I love that it's a
Oh.
one-take show right now, though. We're like in this nice lighting in the hotel room.
Question of the day. How do you feel about male frontal nudity? I'm just kidding. Don't put it
Remember-
down. I'm naked below. I'm just kidding.
We both are, obviously. Your body is
You
still
wanna
counting
look-
macros,
Yeah.
even if you're not.